that are not law enforcement and that don't have protective orders. Let me give you a sense of the scope of the problem so you understand why this matters. On November 3rd of 2020, oh, sorry, one more thing. Withheld voter records are only available to government officials. So the parties can't see them, the public cannot see them. So that's a big deal, right? So to give you a sense of the scope of the problem, on November 3rd of 2020, this data comes directly from the Salt Lake County clerk. There were 610,221 registered voters in this county. If you don't live in Utah or Salt Lake County, this is Utah's biggest county. We have 1/3 of the population, so this is a big deal. Out of those 610,000 voters, 110,000 were withheld. Imagine that there are not 110,000 military members, law enforcement, or people with protective orders in this state. Those are people that were reclassified from being private to withheld. And that's about 18% of the voter rolls. Only government officials can see them. Another 16%, so 95,000, were classified as private. So those are only available to members of the political parties and then government officials. So basically what we have here is a two-tiered system, right? One for regular, everyday official people, and the other for the elites of our state. And that's what this lawsuit is about. Right now, a regular member of Utah, so a citizen, has no way to be able to go and verify that those voter rolls are being properly maintained. You can't tell if your vote is being protected by the people in power. And this lawsuit is aimed at fixing that. Now, I just so everybody understands, Phil is a native Utah. And we decided we wanted to try to get the lieutenant governor's office to comply with federal law in a non-contentious way. And so we used our grandma process, and we actually went through that process, even though we were not required to try to get them to comply with the law. They refused. So then we served what's called a notice of violation. So under the National Voter Registration Act, when your head of elections is violating the law, you serve them with a notice of violation. That gives them 90 days to be able to comply with that law. 90 days was yesterday, and we never heard from the lieutenant governor's office. We didn't get any sort of response, and she has not complied with the law. Today was the 91st day, and we filed that lawsuit this morning in the United States District Court for the District of Utah.
Yes.
And at that point, when we got to the point where we wanted to file a notice of violation, that's when we were able to partner with the Public Interest Legal Foundation. And we are so thankful for that because they bring a breadth of experience from a nationwide perspective dealing with these types of issues. And it has been just an immeasurable value to Phil and I. So thank you very much. I'm going to turn this over now to Doug to speak some more. Thank you.
Good.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you guys for being here for this really important and deeply troubling issue. But I want to make it clear, this is not a thing that is exclusive to Utah. This is not something that is happening in isolation. Across the country, we are seeing a pattern of election officials prioritizing secrecy over transparency, opaqueness over open and free elections here. And unfortunately, Utah is becoming the national outlet, becoming the worst example of this issue. So, first of all, Utah's approach to voter transparency is very uniquely extreme. We have a nationwide database of voter rolls, and we are tracking this issue very closely. Very specific segmenting, like security numbers, all of these things. But Utah decided that no, you can't just redact it. You have to just very, very higher for the point our nation where election integrity and trust in elections is at an all-time low. So recent polling indicates 59% of Utah Republicans, 58% of Utah independents say they have confidence in elections. That is a really, really, really bad number. absolutely contributed to by this opaqueness, by this secrecy. Think about this. A system like ours cannot function if you do not have confidence or working as they should. Now, we've challenged several practices and utilized places like Lyman, places like this is the thing that I think is really important. Federal law is very clear on this topic. Voter transparency is it's allowed to see it. It can't be both ways. You either give it to everyone or you give it to no one. So that is why we are here today. We are here to stop the two-tiered system of giving voter data to political insiders while blocking watchdog groups like ours from accessing this data and ensuring that ordinary citizens can trust in the electoral process. Like I said before, this is not just a Utah problem, it is a national problem, but gosh, is it bad. And just like other states, we are taking this fight to the courts. At this time, I would like to introduce PILF President J. Christian Adams, who's going to walk us through the legal framework, the legal arguments that we are going to make up this. Christian.
Thank you, Doug. I hope you all can hear me. By the way, I'm really privileged. I'm in all 50 states. There is no state capital like this. Real briefly, my name is J. Christian Adams. That's J. period. And I'm the president of the Public Interest Legal Foundation. We're a C3 charity law firm that litigates election issues across the country. This is a case about transparency. And a lot of folks have asked, what are you going to do once Utah complies with federal law? What are you going to do when they make list maintenance records available? Every state we have looked at the voter rolls and the list maintenance records, we find problems. In Pennsylvania, we found one voter registered 7 times. In Michigan, we found 27,000 dead registrants on the active voter rolls. We find people registered without birth dates, without names and addresses, mistakes and bad hygiene. This is a good government transparency project that everybody should be behind, whether you're on the left, right, or up there. We have won these cases. We have not lost on the merits in these cases in places like South Carolina, Maryland, Illinois, Maine. We've gone to the 4th Circuit Court of Appeals, federal court, 1st Circuit Court of Appeals. We win these cases. Frankly, this isn't a complicated issue. The National Voter Registration Act had a transparency provision. Some call it motor voter, 1993, some will remember. And it said that list maintenance records, those records involved with cleaning your voter rolls, making the rolls accurate, having clean elections, they're public records under federal law. This is not a state issue, this is a federal issue. And the lawsuit today is asking for that federal law to be followed and the Utah's barriers to transparency be struck down.
Yes.
I want to keep everybody standing up here all day in the sun, so if you have any questions, Lyman has been a warrior on transparency.
Yes. Woo!
I'm so grateful that in this case is not about the past, it's about a better future. More transparency for the future, cleaner elections for the future. I guarantee there's mistakes on those voter rolls. No question about it. We see them everywhere. It doesn't mean that it's malfeasance, but it needs to be fixed. And that's what transparency will let us do and let the media do. Everybody's in favor of transparency because that's what makes government accountable. So thank you. We'll take your questions. Oh, right. No. I'm off script. Bill's going to talk. I'm sorry.
Woo!
This is a good day, I'm telling you. And I just want to, can you hear me back here? Okay. When Christian and his team showed up and this morning, they were astonished at the support that this has here in Utah. And they wanted every other state to pay attention to Utah's grassroots movement and energy.
Woo!
It's very interesting. On this last few weeks, I've had a lot of people say, where do you go from here? Where's the GOP in this? Where's our heart and soul? At the convention, the state convention, I said I believe in freedom and liberty, but not just that's written on a page, but that is in your heart. And that's where we're at. This is no matter where you're at on the political spectrum, freedom means freedom.
Woohoo!
And we stand for that. It doesn't matter what your beliefs are, what your background is. You believe in being free. That's what I believe in. I come from the private sector. I'm a CPA. I told my wife years ago I could do a lot more good in my business than I could ever do by running for city council or some public office. And I still believe that that's where the heart is. But what did I find? I found really horrible policies that are coming down and destroying people's lives. Destroying the lives of honest people, watching their property taxes go through the roof. People who are literally getting taxed up in their homes by their own local public officials. That's not the way this is supposed to happen. What is the solution? The solution is to elect different people, right?
Yes.
The pirates that are running the state know that that's the solution. That's why they wanted to lock up our elections as well. And they are locked up. They have been captured. You go back and you look at these things, and whether you're going back 4 years or just to 2024, our elections are compromised. We have a right to look at these things. The voter rolls are our voter rolls. They don't belong to the lieutenant governor. They belong to the people. They belong to us. I read a really fantastic case. I think it was Pennsylvania, and it was from Public Interest Legal Foundation. And the judge came out and made a ruling that said, of course, people can look at the voter rolls. It's their voter rolls. Of course, they can look at the cast vote records. That's what they're for, is so that people can verify the integrity of their elections. Now, in Utah, they say that we have the gold standard of elections.
No way.
It is the fool's gold standard.
Woo!
If you believe it, you are a fool. I'm telling you. I've never seen anything more deliberately blocked and obfuscated. Every opportunity that we've had to get some answers, we've been blocked, whether it's at the lieutenant governor's office, at the state records committee, at the courts, all of these things dismissed without even being heard on their merits. So to have Public Interest Legal Foundation take an interest in this has been really, really great. I will say, I'm not interested in election integrity because I ran for governor. I ran for governor because I'm interested in election integrity.
Yeah.
That's what brought me to the point of running and really wanting to find out. I'm a person, I don't like to just take things in the abstract. I want to feel it. I want to see it. I want to see with my own eyes what's going on. And I have seen that. Being in the legislature for 6 years and watching the lobby interests come in here and push things like downtown renovations and stadiums and gondolas and all of these things that should be done by the voice of the people. Is that not what we are here in Utah? Do we not feel that ourselves? Do we not observe it with our own eyes? We have eyes to see and ears to hear and hearts to feel. And this is where it happens. With this particular situation, it's very specific. And it's with the Voter Rights Act, Section 8. The state is in violation. Caitlin Phillips, who's on the team here, she and I have been communicating for the last 4 years. And thank you, Caitlin, for I'm not blocking my numbers. And I don't bother people. I'm not a pest. Probably need to be more so. But I've watched the work that they've done. They are phenomenal. They're amazing. They're a nonprofit organization, a 501c3. They depend on the donations and contributions of people who believe in what they're doing. I believe in what they're doing. I'm raising money to help support this cause. I hope that you'll take that into account. Look them up on publicinterestlegal.org. So it is publicinterestlegal.org, and do what you can. I love you all. I'm so grateful for the state. I'm grateful for my freedom. I'm grateful for America. Despite the spat between Elon and Trump right now, I'm very grateful. I do want to express such deep gratitude to Goud Maragani. You know,
Yeah.
there are some great attorneys, and you know, the 98% of them shouldn't give the other 2% a bad name. And so I'm grateful for Goud and what he's done and for bringing a spotlight to this. And with that, I'm going to turn it back to Goud. Thank you.
Woo!
I'm a little bit short with that. So, okay, so that's the first kind. Before we turn to questions, I just wanted to mention this to everybody. We have one more event tonight.
That's
From
okay.
6 to 8. It will be an event with food, and you will once again have a chance to ask questions and be able to talk about election integrity with people that are experts about it. And so I wanted to invite everybody here to come to that. We will put the details, I think, on social media, right, Sophie? So look out for that, and I hope I'll see you guys on there. 6 to 8. It's going to be in the avenues here in Salt Lake City. We'll post it. We'll post it online. We'll post the address online. Yeah. We'll post it on all Phil's.
And Natalie's, yeah.
Okay, we are now open for questions, so if,
Yeah, so, sorry. I'm of that class of voters who has elected to have my information protected. So I'm curious, what kind of information are you looking to daylight here? Because I don't necessarily want my phone number, email address, all that available to the public. You know, as someone who values my privacy. So can you kind of explain that a little bit to me?
Sure, I understand what you mean. Congress has spoken on this.
Can't hear you.
The question was he didn't want his information revealed. Nobody plans on putting this online, but Congress has made a law, right? And Congress has made a law that says transparency is the most important value.
Sure. So, but what?
So that's the best answer I can give you on that.
No,
I don't want to get into an argument with you.
No. I'm just curious. What's the rest of the information like? Is it my social security number?
No, absolutely not.
Oh, okay.
No. Yes, sir.
Phil had mentioned that at every turn, other efforts have been blocked by the courts. What's your strategy to make sure that doesn't happen here?
Yeah, this is a totally different legal issue. Those are things like state courts. This is a very, very clear issue under a federal law.
Yes.
That the records are transparent and a federal court is going to hear this. So I don't share the same pessimism about other cases.
Good.
Any more? I guess you go.
What's your timeline?
Well, it's interesting you asked that. We have these cases all over the country. We had one we just won in South Carolina. We had one in Maryland that was over in about 3 months because Maryland saw fit to settle it. It was a clear issue. Illinois was over quickly. Pennsylvania has been going on for, I think, 6 years.
Oh, wow.
So hopefully it won't be Pennsylvania. We won that case, but Pennsylvania appealed. It's in the Third Circuit now. In the middle of some legal battles, look, it could be resolved next week for about $1 taxpayer dollar settled, but we'll see if that happens.
Okay.
What does the verification process look like if you win? Do you get the records, and what happens?
What happens in other states is, I've never seen that revolver cover, by the way. That's, so what happens in other states is we get the records and we get them usually in electronic form. And we just, look, I didn't get to tell the story of Rashawn Slade. I did to everybody else earlier. Rashawn Slade was a voter in Pennsylvania who was registered to vote 7 times. 7. Same address. And we only learned that after we got the records. You can't know if someone's registered to vote 7 times if you don't have the records, do you? I'm not saying there's people registered 7 times here. They might be registered 9 times. But we find people who were registered after they died. Judith Presto, also in Pittsburgh, registered after she died. Her husband did it. We got the records. We found the problem. Her husband was arrested for registering his dead wife. That's what we're looking for. Is you can't analyze problems until you have the data.
That only answered half my question. So how does that process work?
Okay. Well, it depends on how they lose, doesn't it? If they lose in a court order, which if they don't settle, they have a chance of losing. They turn over the records like on flash drive. They make it available for an FTP, or they make it available in some other format that allows us to get the questions answered that we saw.
Line by line.
Yeah, no, it's a huge data crunch. This is not like this is the big data task, right?
Christian. So I have a question in regards to mail-in ballots and how the withholding the voter information with the automatic mail-in ballots, how does that affect that process?
So the question was about mail-in ballots and how it relates to this. Not directly, but I'll say this. We looked at the voter records in Nevada. You can find these videos online. They're great fun to me, at least, to watch. Are people going to casinos and liquor stores to go find the voter who's registered to vote there or doesn't live there? And we go in and ask for the voter, and they don't live there. Well, Nevada has a mail system too. And when you combine no transparency with mail voting, it's a disaster.
Yeah.
A little bit better than that is transparency plus bad voter rolls plus mail voting. We at least want to get to that not as bad situation.
Yeah.
Yes. I have a question for the candidate for city council, if that's all right.
I don't think this is for folks on the law side. Yeah. So
Question.
it's a good album.
Goud?
Go ahead.
We see voter roll information being sent to printers, then the printers accidentally scramble the information, send out new registration cards, and then have to send out revised registration cards. We see other voter history information stored in our state Vista registration system has problems. Is there a place that we can report this type of stuff that would be of interest to you and your organization?
Look, no election is perfect. And what you're talking about is the production of voter registration cards. And thankfully that's curable and doesn't deny the right to vote. Like somebody ought to get it fixed. I would direct it to whoever's doing the printing. But again, that doesn't relate to this lawsuit, generally speaking. And just to make sure, is there any media that has a question?
I'm media.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Identify.
I don't look at, yeah. Are there any potential repercussions for the lieutenant governor's office or any county clerks if malfeasance is proven, or is that even a component?
Yeah, we aren't alleging malfeasance.
Okay.
Let's be clear. This is about a transparency provision. This is a public right to know law. This is not a corruption law. This is a right to understand how your elections are working, whether they're complying with federal obligations that Congress put into the law. This isn't about the lieutenant governor. This is about the transparency law.
What is your feeling regarding the grassroots support that showed up today?
Okay, I'll tell you a little story. I shouldn't. I'll get scolded for this later. I said to my staff, I said, I'm going to do this, but I'm ready to be disappointed. Oh my gosh.
Woo!
My response is, you guys care. And I am jazzed about that.
Wow.
And that's not a basketball joke. Go ahead.
I'm just wondering if any other red states that we have been to, there's been as much destruction as.
Okay. I'm going to tell this. I'm going to try to tell the media this because it's hard when you're here and this is your place and you're home and you want to think, and I get it.
Can you repeat the question?
The question was, are there any other red states that have as much sort of obstruction? I'm going to reframe the word obstruction and tick. This is an extreme law that no other red state is even close to. South Carolina law, the one PILF challenged and defeated, only allowed you to get the voter rolls if you're a registered voter of that state. remember the motor law, right? You're DMV we're not in the mood registry today, just to be able to get the records associated with maintenance. So South Carolina clause of the Constitution says if Utah's legislature passes a law that is in conflict with a federal law passed in Washington, and this is for you students out there, which side wins? You guys should know this. Supremacy clause.
Constitution.
The Constitution wins. And the South Carolina state law conflicted with the federal law, and it lost under the Constitution. And Utah's law that blocks transparency conflicts with federal law, and the Constitution says it must go down.
I can just add a little bit to that. When we were going through the grandma process, we did go look to see if any other states had a system that's similar to what Utah has, and I couldn't find anything. This is something very different and very unique, and I think it could just be a reflection of how Utah's culture is also very different and very unique.
How long ago did it get put in, and who put it in there?
Well, that's a sensitive issue after this morning.
I think, I'll be honest with you, I believe that, like I said earlier, the piece that I know for sure is that in May 12th of 2020, everybody who was a private voter record was converted into a withheld voter record. But I wasn't able to find any of the reasoning behind why that was done. I've heard some different theories, but they're just theories, so I don't really want to put them out there as if they're factual, and I know for sure that's what happened. So I don't fully know the reasoning behind it, but that's what's caused the problem in the first place. After they took all of those people that were private, at least when they were private, the parties could access them and the candidates could access them. It's still a two-tier system, but at least more than government officials could access them. But once those were converted into withheld voter records, and like I said, on November 3rd of 2020, in Salt Lake County, it was 18% of the voter rolls were withheld, meaning only government officials can see them. It destroyed transparency completely in our state. And it's made it so that there's a massive amount of the voter rolls that are just not accessible to the public, which means that you and anyone out there who wants to check to make sure that your vote's being protected cannot do that. Oh, yeah, go ahead, sir. Do you have a question? In the hat.
I was asking, you just answered the question.
Oh, okay.
Very good.
Okay. I think. I just, as I'm standing here, I did want to give a shout out to, we don't have any of our legislators here, but we have a former legislator, Representative Christensen, who was he was a fearless fighter on this and helped lay a lot of this groundwork by asking for voter rolls. Yeah. Government officials are entitled to those, right, Steve? Did you get them? No, nor did I. Are you serious? Is Carrie Ann here? Yeah, she is. Carrie Ann? Yes, there she is. No, right up Carrie Ann here. Anyway, as I'm looking around, there's a lot of other people here who've been fighting the fight, Trent and Michael and some of these people. So thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. Once again, so that's our press conference. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you for the support. Thank you to the media for being here. We appreciate it. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to answer them for you. Or you can reach out to the public.
Raise your hand. There you die.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
6 to 8 p.m. Watch social media for that.
This is our live stream from the Capitol today. This is Trent Christensen with KMMU. Thank you for watching.